Good afternoon. The Premier made a very important point around compliance where we are in the pandemic. Already, police have issued over 150 cautions to people for not wearing masks on public transport and other places where they should. We've moved to a new setting. Commissioner Fuller has made it very clear to the New South Wales Police Force that we're moving much further into a compliance and an enforcement regime around the order, rather than a simple education response to people and that visibility and seeking people to comply. There are clearly people now that want to be mischievous or simply want to go beyond the order. Those people will be spoken to by police and will be issued with a penalty notice rather than be given the option of a caution. As we move into the school holidays, people need to understand that if they choose to go outside the order and drive to a location, whether that's down the snow, whether that's up the coast, whether that's down the south coast, out west, Traffic and Highway Patrol are well aware of the order and what it says to people and what it commands them to do. And police will be out there enforcing that part of the activity, as well as being on our public transport system and in and around cafes, pubs, clubs, making sure that people comply in what is a very fractious time in terms of the pandemic in this particular cluster. I'm sure people would also like to understand where police are up to with the investigation into the transport driver. That investigation continues as we think more about the offences that may have been committed. It's not just about a breach of that transport order, but we're thinking now around how we look at this, these actions of transport drivers, and indeed this particular driver, around transport offences, work health and safety offences, not just the driver, but certainly the organisation that employs that driver. It's not as simple as issuing a ticket to this gentleman thinking that the whole system is repaired or one person is responsible for where we're at today. Police will continue that investigation. They seek any input that people have in relation to it, and I hope by early next week we may have some resolve out of that. But what is important as well is that people need to understand that this operation, so far, there have been over 360,000 police shifts. There have been over 300,000 security shifts, almost 100,000 ADF shifts, and then you put into that cooks, cleaners, the effort that health have put in. Over 192,000 people have completed quarantine. It is an extremely complex operation that every single moment, every single time that we get the opportunity to improve it, we will.